So I was born in 1963, and my understanding is Head Start was actually just getting started as I was a little baby. I was the youngest of 7 children, and as my older siblings had headed off to school, there was I, the baby girl, with nowhere to go and no one to watch me. So my parents birthed the idea of trying out Head Start. I was very afraid of that, but decided, let's give it a try. And that's one of my earliest memories, is having the dialogue with my parents about whether or not Head Start was the thing for me. So in 1963, there were challenges then. So going into Head Start at about 1967 or 68, there was still discrimination. And my kindergarten class was not integrated. My first grade nor second grade classes were integrated. And so we had what was maybe a diminutive experience in early childhood. But still I knew, because I had had some opportunity to learn, that I was capable of learning. The things that I remember is I knew I could learn. I knew I could figure things out. I knew I had a thirst for getting in a place where learning was happening. And so while there were all of the things that were happening in the 60s, from the Dr. Martin Luther King was still, there was still marching. This was before his passing. I was still being confident in one thing, which was that I knew I could learn. So I'm really passionate about early childhood development, and I absolutely know, having also had my own children, that the earlier you start learning, the more influential that learning will be in your latter years. And it also, not only was it about my intellectual development, but it was also about my social development. Even though I grew up in a home with 6 other older siblings, I was very fearful of being socializing with folks who were not in my family. But going to the Head Start program gave me a little acclimation to meeting friends, making friends, meeting others who were my peers. And so it was a sort of a dual-sided benefit for me. When I got to kindergarten, I was the smartest kid in the kindergarten. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Hayes, couldn't understand it. She didn't understand how I knew how to read in kindergarten, how I knew how to write. Part of that was being the youngest of 7 children, where learning was a very important part of our upbringing. But it was also because I had already started that path of learning. So when I got to kindergarten, I was actually bored because other students were having to catch up to where I already was. So Head Start is just what the words say. It gives a child a head start in learning. It teaches that passion for learning, not only the learning, but also the social. Combining those two creates that individual that's able to operate in multiple environments. And so after going to Head Start and then going to school here in Columbus, and eventually going to the University of Georgia in Athens, all of that was a preparatory process for me. And it all started by my parents making that decision to get me started early in my learning. And then it established a desire and a zeal and a thirst for lifelong learning.